The big question that people want to ask is Bitcoin a pyramid scheme? Is crypto at large a pyramid scheme? Hey, if you don't know me, my name's Brett. I have been in the crypto markets for 7, 8 years, and definitely cracked the code last year, 2023. Turned 40K into over 800,000. Really exciting, generating on average about 2K a day. Learned a lot. So when we look at Bitcoin, first I would suggest checking out the white paper to understand Bitcoin. Why do we want to do that? Because Bitcoin is the king. It in general, whatever happens with Bitcoin, the market tends to follow. There's going to be some exceptions to that rule, uh, which we'll touch upon a little bit later. But Bitcoin white paper. So the white paper was what came out to explain what's the case study, what's the case used for Bitcoin. And so here it came out in 2008. And what we can look at here are just some bullet points. So it was introduced as a digital currency to the world in the paper called Bitcoin. That's the white paper, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The Bitcoin white paper is only 9 pages long and is a proposal for a trustless system of electronic transactions. Bitcoin network creates a structure for making payments without a trusted third party acting as intermediary. Bitcoin white paper is simple language, attempts to translate complex technological concepts into easy to understand terminology. So that's cool. I mean, they simplified it, or whoever it was. We don't know who Satoshi actually is. He is the largest holder of Bitcoins. And yeah, I mean, 9 pages, and now it's $1 trillion market cap here. So we're going to take a look at it. And it was revolutionary. And the reason why people love it so much because of the peer to peer. So it eliminates the how it says trustless. It eliminates the third party. So it's just direct, me to you, you to me, anywhere you want in this world. So obviously that's big business when we're talking about financial transactions and transfers and cross border payments and whatnot. Right? We know ACH, we know Swift, we know Venmo, PayPal, all those sorts of things. Here, we're talking about a decentralized version of it. It's not necessarily anonymous. It is transparent because everything is stamped on the blockchain. And I was just going to say it's efficient, but that's my problem with Bitcoin is that it's slow. So that's the white paper. I want to get that out of the way. So now let's talk about is it a pyramid scheme? Is it a Ponzi scheme? Is there any real value to this? A lot of people think that there's just nothing to this. I'm sure there's cases out there that Bitcoin's going to go to zero. Really, really hard to prove those cases at this point with the massive adoption in the just huge investment companies, right? BlackRock, all the ETFs. So we got mass adoption at the high level, right? So is it a Ponzi? So what's interesting is that when we look at, I want to take a look at some of these other cryptos here. So Bitcoin here, it is cranked up 46% in the past 30 days. Market cap 1.9 trillion. It's almost at 2 trillion. Incredible. And what is it? It's just numbers on a screen. It's a complicated computer program. And it's on. It's attached to the blockchain. It is the blockchain. Bitcoin is the cryptocurrency on the Bitcoin network. And I'm not a huge fan of using Bitcoin because when you try to send it, it's just slow, right? And there's no other utility. So that's what I want to get at is utility. So when there's nothing, no real world purpose, utility of a particular token, then the only things that are going to support a value of it is two things. It's going to be community driven. That's one. Two, supply and demand. So if you want to break up supply and demand and say that's two and three, and we got three things, we got community driven, support, supply and demand. But supply and demand is the market. So with that, Bitcoin has reached almost 2 trillion in value, which is incredible. So what it is being used for is actually a storehouse of value. That's why they call it a digital gold. Just like gold is a precious metal and asset that just gets held onto by these institutions and governments and central banks and all that stuff. Now it's looking like that's what's going on with Bitcoin. And the big thing with Bitcoin versus gold, some people like the stuff that you can put in your hands and touch and smell and taste or whatever. But when you got to move or your house burns down or you got to get out of town pretty quick, carrying tons of gold is not going to happen. Even carrying a lot of gold isn't going to happen. So Bitcoin, all you need is a thumb drive, right? Or all you need are your 12 seed phrase keys, and you can access Bitcoin anywhere, any country, right? You don't have to worry about going through customs and all that sort of stuff, which could be a concern to people. And of course, you got to wherever you're from when you sell it. There's taxable events depending on the country and stuff like that. However, Trump is trying to do away with capital gains for cryptocurrency sales, which is huge. This is why we're seeing the markets pump right now because of the Trump win and the expectation that Trump is going to assume the presidency. And we have 250 members in Congress that are pro crypto. So the people spoke through their vote, and we're headed into a very pro crypto environment, specifically in the U.S., which is a very powerful influence in the world. And so that's what's going on here. You have not only institutional buyers of the Bitcoin, but now that there's a discussion of a Bitcoin reserve at the U.S., now you have countries, sovereign countries that are front running purchasing a Bitcoin. So that's really, I mean, we're seeing a huge bump of Bitcoin. It's absolutely incredible, and so that's community driven. Whether you're the government or you're some crypto enthusiast that says I love Bitcoin, it's freedom. I can send it wherever I want to whoever I want. Whether you're a institution, a government, whatever it is, you are essentially part of a larger community that is supporting this project, and that literally got it to 1.9 trillion in market cap. The other thing that got it there is the supply and demand. So with Bitcoin, you could look at the tokenomics, and tokenomics is just how many tokens are there in circulation, how many are distributed, how's the mining work, there's all kinds of factors, characteristics of Bitcoin that actually make it a finite, limited supply. So I think there's 22 million Bitcoin in total. So that's kind of a scarcity thing when we're talking about almost 2 trillion in market cap and only 22 million of these Bitcoin. How many people are actually going to have one Bitcoin? So that could send up the price to right now. I saw on my screen 100K a few days ago. Nobody else saw it, but I have a screenshot of it. 100K Bitcoin. I think I'll make it as the cover of this video. And but we could be headed to 150, 250, could be headed to $1 million Bitcoin. And if we do, even having small amounts of Bitcoin could be very beneficial. Obviously, not financial advice. You got to make these own decisions for yourself. But that's all I got to say about Bitcoin. What else can you say about it? It's very different when you look at some of these other tokens that have, like Ethereum is the native token on the Ethereum blockchain. So you need to, when you use the Ethereum blockchain and you're sending crypto or participating in projects there, you're going to use a little bit of Ethereum as what's called a gas fee, which does it's just like a little processing fee. And but Ethereum is known for its smart contracts. So on Bitcoin, all you can really send is Bitcoin. They are launching some other stuff on it. Finally, on Ethereum, you can send all kinds of cryptos and multiple. There's layer 1, layer 2 on Ethereum. So there's a lot going on Ethereum, and so we call that utility. There's a lot of utility, a lot of projects, third-party projects being built on Ethereum. I mean, we're talking about a $405,000 billion market cap, huge. Tether is also huge, 132 billion. That's going to be the first stable coin on the list here. So that's 1-to-1 with the US dollar, essentially. Solana, number 4. This thing has been cranking 53%. So there is where the meme coin craze and boom is taking place on Solana. Solana is also cheap to use. So each one has its own characteristics, its own story, its own purpose, its own utility. BNB is another obviously big blockchain with a lot of stuff going on. XRP sign they is was created by Ripple. Ripple has signed all kinds of contracts and agreements with central banks around the world, so that's a big deal. That utility for XRP is cross-border payments, lightning fast, super cheap. So that's why this thing has been cranking 176%. A lot of people say it's going to be part of the new financial system. Dogecoin, number 7, is going to be the first meme on the top 100 list. And incredible that it's a $62 billion market cap because there's no utility to it whatsoever, right? XRP, we said utility. These Ethereum, there's some utility. Solana, BNB, utility. Dogecoin, purely community driven. I mean, at least with Bitcoin, you got you have a storehouse of value. Dogecoin. What's interesting about Dogecoin, why it's pumping? I mean, that's a massive pump, 217%. That's huge past 30 days because you got the Department of Efficiency, government efficiency. So Elon Musk has always kind of been a advocate of Doge, which has led to it getting to this spot here. But now that he came out with the Doge Department of Government Efficiency, this thing has just been cranking. And maybe there is some utility for Doge in the future. As of now, there isn't one. USDC is going to be a stable coin, so that's 1-to-1 with the US dollar. I like to use stable coins because I get into DeFi projects. So I look for projects that are going to produce the equivalent of cash flow, rev share, NFTs. I want to partner with blockchain companies and stuff like that. So I like to use stable coins like USDC and Tether because if the move that I'm going to do costs 1,000 or 5,000 or 10,000 or whatever thousand, I know that if I have 10,000 of Tether or 10,000 USDC, it's basically $10,000 worth, and it's not going to fluctuate much at all. You can see that past 30 days, 0% change. Past 30 days, it's actually up 0.22%. So it's tied to the US dollar. Whereas if I got Bitcoin and I got 10,000 and I want to get involved with some projects, well, congrats to me because over the past 30 days, it's up 46% or past 7 days. It's up 8%. But if I bought it today to do some work, to do some business, and it dropped 0.31%, now I got to figure out what do I actually have left. And also, 10,000 is like, 0.9 Bitcoin, right? So it's just extra math that I don't like to do because it's just how I play the game. If you're looking to buy these tokens for long-term hold, that's a different strategy. If you're looking to trade, day trading and short-term trading and stuff like that, and speculation, that's a different strategy. I do like some tokens. I do like to hold some tokens, and I do like to do risky type of high risk, high reward type of stuff. But there's a difference between getting 8%, shooting for like 6 to 8% per month versus a token that has potential to do 10 to 1,000x versus, hey, Bitcoin is the king, the top dog, up 46%. This thing could go to 150, 250, or a million in a matter of time. And I'm just that's as passive as you can get, where you just deposit on there and just long term hold it, weather the storm, right? Because stuff is going to go up and down. We could have huge, massive corrections at any time in the crypto space. You got to be prepared for that. Cardano has surprised me that it's up 207%. This is supposedly compatible with it's the ISO 220. It's like the new part of the new financial system and stuff like that. It's been around for a while. It's very confusing if you try to figure it out. XRP is supposedly compatible with it. They don't have an official endorsement of any crypto on their site, but that's the rumors that XRP Cardano is compliant or compatible with those. So that's why those guys have been cranking. Tron is another chain I like to use. Avalanche doing really well. I mean, this is an exciting blockchain avalanche. There's a lot of exciting projects getting on there. The fitness miner project that I'm involved with, where I generate, I have my Google Fit app, I got my Google Sleep app, and I have my mining app. And basically, for sleeping and working out and steps and burning calories, I submit that every day, and my miner produces rewards as a result of doing that. So there's actually incentives to get into shape, which is just an incredible thing. And that's built on the Avalanche chain. You do need a little bit of AVAX because that's the token for gas on that chain. And but this thing has been absolutely cranking. All right, Stellar. This is actually my largest holding, and it's up 451% over the past 30 days. Stellar does basically what XRP does, but it does it. XRP is more on the institutional government level, central banking. Really, really massive transactions, and Stellar is supposed to be on the people level. Check out Franklin Templeton. They're a huge investment bank that is behind, really advocates for Stellar XLM. But top 100, this is basically the top gainer for a real token. There is one other token on the top 100 that beats Stellar, but it's a meme coin, and there's literally no utility to it. Shiba Inu is going to be a meme coin, and so there's some other ones, right? Pepe is going to be meme, and so hopefully that gives you insights. Hopefully that answers whether or not crypto is a Ponzi scheme, whether Bitcoin is a Ponzi. Um, it's something that's community driven. It's going, and the supply and demand. Yeah, like people want to know, if I put money into crypto, if I put money into Bitcoin, is that just going to somebody else? Well, in actuality, that's how the stock market works. When you put in a buy order, there's a sell order. That buy order can only happen if there's a sell order, and vice versa. And maybe I'm not saying that exactly right, but there has to be a when you're a buyer in the market, New York Stock Exchange, and it's hard to wrap your head around this, but if you're a buyer for a stock, you want to buy a stock, you can only buy that stock if there's a seller, and you can only sell that stock if there's a buyer. So same thing with Bitcoin when we're talking about supply and demand. So it could be hard. You could look at that and be like, wait a second, if I'm giving my money, it's just going to somebody else, right? If I'm buying a Bitcoin, that money's just going to somebody else. It's just buyers and sellers. That's how the market works. And if those buyers and sellers, if there's more buyers, then the price is going to go up. If there's more sellers, it goes down. If there's scarcity, it can go up. If there's more utility, that has the potential to go up. There's more value. So these are the factors here. And so there's a lot of people that just don't think that this is real. They're trying to ignore it. And in my opinion, that's a huge mistake. If it were me, I would have lost out on 800,000 last year, right? So it took me 7-8 years to figure this out, and I kept getting burnt, and I got rug pulled, and I got scammed, and but I kept going because I knew there was something here. I saw the opportunity, and I persisted, and I cracked through it, and now I have a course. Right, I teach people the basics. It's a four day class, and people go through it because it's important to get in the game to understand which apps you need, what's the safest way to do things. You got to think about security and best practices, and then from there we talk about how to buy your first crypto, how to store it, how to transfer it, how to convert it into other cryptos, and then how to get it into an automated trading bot. And I had brand new newbies go through that process and generate ROI within 24, 48 hours. So it was a huge success. So I do those courses live, those classes live. I've done it a couple times. I don't know when my next one is scheduled. So if you want the recordings to that, I'll put the link somewhere for you for that. And then aside from that, then now you got the foundation. You got the foundation. You go through that. You got the foundation where you can level up if you want to. And then we can talk about advanced strategies and stuff like that. But hope you got a lot of value out of this. And hopefully it clarified some stuff for you to take a serious look at this. Do your due diligence. Wrestle with it so that it makes sense, because it took me 8-9 years for it to make sense, and it paid off huge. So, and if you have any other questions, let me know, and leave some comments below if you did get value, any questions that you have. And we'll go from there. See you on the next one. Have a good one. Enjoy this ride.